Hey guys, so today I'm going to show you how to do a digital illustration of a pop culture object. So for your pop culture object, what you want to think about is a very mass-produced object. And in my case, I think what's relevant for us is to do a gym shoe. So what I'm going to do is, notice all my layers here on the right. I'm going to add another layer. And I'm going to go into my paintbrush tool, and if you hold it down, it will come up with all of these different fun options. And what I want to think about is what kind of a brush would be the best for drawing. So I'm going to go ahead and do an animator pencil, size 7, and just see how that goes. You can see your hardness, angle, flow, smoothing. There's a bunch of different brush setting options. And then also, of course, the color. So for the color, I'm actually just going to go black. And it doesn't matter where I draw because I can move it. So I'm going to zoom in. And I'm going to get started with my shoe drawing. I'm anticipating this is not going to be a perfect shoe. It's a work in progress. So you can add some color. Let me change the color to a little brighter. Okay. I'm going to add a different color. Maybe a little darker. Okay, so once I like my shoe, kind of where it is, and because I'm making a video, I'm drawing really quickly, but if I were doing this project, this shoe would take me upwards of 30 minutes. But for the sake of time, I'm just going to stop, although it is difficult for me not to be a perfectionist here. Okay, this looks like a very goofy shoe. But what we want to focus on is what you can do with the shoe. So right now I'm going to go to my transform, and you can shrink it down. You can move it around. You can decide where exactly you would like the shoe to be. And I kind of like it on his head. It's a little silly. And then I'm going to say done. But then I'm also going to duplicate my layer. So I have another shoe. So when I go ahead and pull this out, you can see now there are 2 shoes. And I can do exactly the same thing. Whoop. There we go. If you wanted to make it like walking down his head, you get the idea. I actually don't love that. So I think what I'm thinking about more now is my compositional strategy that I was using. If you are using like the X model or the N model or the E model, make sure that you're positioning your visuals in your project the way that your sketch was, and definitely with the model in mind. So I can't see clearly any particular compositional model here, so I would really sort of rethink this as I'm going. so that it more clearly demonstrates one of the models that we talked about. Okay, also don't forget your blending mode. You always have choices with that. And when you change your blending mode, it definitely changes the way the shoe sits on top of your project. And it also looks different depending on where you put it in your project. Because right now it's mixing with the yellow background. However, if you move it, it will look different over here versus here versus here. Okay. So that is a digital illustration of a pop culture object on top of your project.